and welcome to Youth in Sports, where every Tuesday night at 7:30 p.m. we feature special guests from near and far. The program is sponsored by ATI Physical Therapy, providing certified athletic trainers to more than 30 area high schools and colleges. First State Orthopedics, the team taking care of Delaware with a commitment to excellence. And Wilmington University, where Youth in Sports is produced by the College of Technology's students and faculty. And now, from the studio at President Jack Barcelona's Wilmington University, your hosts for Youth in Sports, ALSSM Mr. Sports Medicine 2012, Dr. Michael Axe, UD and St. Elizabeth's own Dr. Joseph Strait, and co-founder of Youth in Sports, Mr. Walter Laudine.
Welcome to Youth in Sports. I'm here with Joe Strait. We're representing First State Orthopedics, but the reason for this show this evening is a great organization that we've been involved with since its inception in this area. It's gone by many names. It's currently called ATI Physical Therapy. I think they'll stay ATI Physical Therapy. What do you think, Dr. Strait?
Definitely. Formerly known as Pro PT, ATI has been around for many years, and they've been growing in the Delaware area and in Pennsylvania, and we have a great group with us tonight.
Formerly they were Schweitzer Physical Therapy, which became Pro Physical Therapy, which then became ATI Physical Therapy. So
we'll probably get enlightened about that tonight.
I think we might be. If not, I can certainly enlighten you about this. I've lived through.
Well, those since one of your other hosts that used to be with you was Paul.
Well, Paul's still with us, sometime only in spirit, but he's always with us, and certainly he's been a mainstay of the coaching staff, particularly the young athletes at St. Mark's this year. While his son has moved on to the varsity, he's taken the responsibility of the JV and freshman program, I think freshman. But we're here to talk about physical therapy, in particular ATI Physical Therapy, and what the wonderful things they've done in our community. And not just here in Newcastle County. They've spread their wings, and they're in northern Maryland, they're in Pennsylvania, and they're in Kent County. And we'll have representatives from different factions of that organization here with us today. They have a whole wide range of activities, from taking care of athletes, which their pedigree is founded on, but they take care of the industrial athlete as well. And we'll talk a bit about some of the new things that they're doing in that direction. They have players who have played, and they have they have physical therapists who were players and have played, and there are physical therapists who would have liked to play. but nonetheless, why don't we get to our guests there, Dr. Strait?
Definitely. In our first row from right to left, we have Joe Dawson, who is the director of the Wilmington site, now at the Riverfront. In the middle, we have Kelly, I'm going to say it wrong, but Peliquine, and she is the Eastern Regional Director. She's of sports medicine, correct? On the left is JT Laws. JT is a ex-Delaware Blue Hen football player who has stayed in the state of Delaware, and now is the director of the East Dover site. In our second
East and West Dover.
Oh, ooh.
East Dover.
South.
Right, there you go.
He's taken. In fact, I'll be working now with him starting in the beginning of December. Actually, next week, we'll be working right.
But
next
this show is going to be aired many times, so it'll begin in the end of 2012.
In our second row is Ray Walls. He is the Vice President on the East Coast of Operations, and Harry Harris, who is part of Business Development. So, welcome, guys. Thank you for coming.
Thanks for having us.
You know, one of the things that we wanted to just talk about is the various venues that ATI has decided to embark upon. So if you feel comfortable moving forward with that, Joe, we'll let you go first with that. If Joe's face looks familiar, you may have been seeing him on television with Yuki Washington. He has a really fitting relationship with him.
Absolutely. Yuki and I go way back. 2 weeks ago, we opened the clinic, like Dr. Strait said, on the Riverfront, and we partnered in the same office with WorkPro to share that office space. So it's a really nice relationship as far as being able to help the industrial athlete.
For our folks that don't know who WorkPro is, you want to just kind of give them a blurb on what they do?
Absolutely. They focus on workers' compensation, injury, and illness. They also do travel medicine, flu shots and immunizations, executive physicals. They do drug testing for DOT, think commercial driver's license, those types of things. And they also do nurse case management, which is one of the most important components of their care. So they really help that workers' compensation patient through the process and make sure that they're being taken care of properly. The nice part about that is that we're right on the other side of the office there, and we can really have that nice communication with them as far as those patients. Oftentimes, they can be difficult, making sure the patient's taken care of, progressed through. We have an excellent FIRST program that focuses on work-specific activities, really progressing that patient that may have a heavier work demand to make sure that they're ready for that higher duty. For instance, just last week we had a security guard who was dragging a, what shall we say, a model dead body through the clinic so that he could make sure he could carry that kind of weight. He was wrestling a TheraBall out of our therapist's hands, and he's there for multiple hours to make sure that he has the endurance and the conditioning. But it's been a really nice relationship these first couple weeks here, and the work that we're doing is really paying off.
If the viewing audience thinks that that's what Dr. Straight was talking about, he does when he's not at First State being a musculoskeletal expert, that is what he does. And he works for WorkPro as one of their ambassadors of medical will, as we'll talk about. The thing that I like about the concept of having the facilities joined is for two reasons. Number one, the communication part is important. But number two, the real-time ability to go over and just talk about what the needs are becomes a big plus. The other big plus is that and many times these folks aren't going through work hardening, they're just being seen originally by Dr. Straight and then subsequently by the team of therapists, is they have a way of getting them there. There are no excuses for the individuals not to be able to arrive at their scheduled appointment because you got pickup and delivery, which I think is critical.
What's excellent about ATIs is that their doors are always open. They respond quickly to getting the patients in, especially in a work comp setting. I mean, they do other things than work comp at their site. They also see athletes that have been injured,
seniors.
Exactly. Seniors after total knee replacements or any kind of orthopedic treatment. So the site sees everything, but it's really nice because it helps us to take care of our injured workers.
Absolutely.
One thing I really love about ATI is their athletic training component that they put into it. How many schools now, Kelly, is there? I know that you do Pennsylvania, but in Delaware, the ATI is actually the supplies the training staff for.
For the East Coast, we're up to almost 50 schools that we work with in the area.
And 5 are colleges and the other 45 are high schools, right?
Definitely, because here in the state of Delaware, we have ATI is at Goldie Beacom University.
Correct.
And I know that many of the schools that I cover, there's someone from ATI that's there. Yep. So give us a little bit on how ATI has been in this and how they have athletic trainers that work for them and how that their time is spent.
How the integration is.
Yep. We have a strong presence, especially in the high schools area, and especially in Delaware. It's very unique in what we have, where the athletic trainers spend about half their time in the schools, and then the other half of their time they're in the clinics. So they have very strong relationships both with the coaches, the athletes, the parents, but then on the other side of it, they're working hand in hand with the PTs every day. So we know exactly what kind of care our athletes are able to get. Anytime there's an injury that occurs, we can get them in quickly and then make sure that what's happening in the school is the same thing as happening in the clinics, and we're getting them back faster and safer that way.
One of the things that they do extremely well is that they coordinate the time. So suppose an athlete is done with school at 2 o'clock, which is not uncommon. Many times practice still doesn't start till 3:30, so the integration of maybe getting out of a class early or starting the program at school or continuing the program at school. What I like, another point about ATI is they're not afraid to advance the patients back to the training room. In other words, once they've gotten to the point where the things can be done at school and they don't have to miss school, they will be done at school. And all these injuries are defined. We've done this for a long time, and our ability to be able to distinguish between the severity of the injury and the common time necessary tells us a lot about the athlete. If they're able to achieve that goal faster, one of two things had to happen. Either they were mentally challenged or just decided that it wasn't going to hurt, okay, or that they healed fast. And both of those are possible. The challengement doesn't always mean that they aren't capable of thinking. It just means that they're going to work through this. And I have found on both ways. I've found that trainers at ATI, certainly the ones that have been around for a longer period of time, will go in both directions. I've seen them encourage athletes that were afraid, because everybody's afraid from their first time they're hurt. Everyone's afraid. They think they're never going to play again. And once they get over that injury, our hopes are they realize that, hey, I can play again, and that ATI therapy helps them to do that.
I think it's very integrated between the physical therapists and the athletic trainers, especially in the high school. But you guys also are involved with many of the events that happen in the area, like the Beast of the East. You're very active in the community.
Yep, Beast of the East is our biggest event that we're a part of. We run all the sports medicine for that. This will be our 15th year that we've been there providing all the medical care. So that's a big involvement for us. It's a way to kind of give back to the community.
Is that about how many years you've been there?
No, it's 20 years. This is our 20th anniversary, but it's okay. But ATI has only been there 15,
Yeah.
okay? And they do provide all the athletic training care on the mats.
Excellent.
They provide all the taping, all those things that support Dr. Straight and I as we put through our 22 hours at the event, from the time that they actually have their skin checks till the champions are crowned on Sunday afternoon.
You put so many years in there, Mike.
Well, no,
I've only had 5 years.
But it's an experience, and hopefully we'll be able to share that with the viewing audience in the future. But it's a great event. It'll obviously have either transpired by the time this is taped, but ATI is firmly committed to it. And it makes sense from a business standpoint. ATI is a national company. The Beast of the East is a national event. The Beast of the East has heavily East Coast. So is ATI. You know, it's okay to have two things work. It's okay to have things that both people win. And I think long-standing relationships, whether it be with WorkPro and ATI or First Day Orthopedics and ATI, they evolve over time, and they tend to last a long time because everybody's working in that direction. If one of my patients isn't working hard enough in physical therapy, and I get a phone call from an ATI physical therapist, I take it upon myself to call that patient and then share with them that they have to want to get better. That was the agreement we made when I took them on as a patient. So we try to make the ATI folks have the ability, and it's not just ATI. I have that relationship with other physical therapists, but I found that the ATI group tends to want to have that individual be the best that they can be as soon as they can be at that level. And many times it's not the number of visits that determines that. It's a positive attitude, both from the therapists and also from the patient.
I think you're right. I mean, the biggest thing is the communication. I mean, I probably speak to 1 to 2 physical therapists from ATI every day about patient care, about how the patient looks in their office, about how they're progressing and what plans they have. And I think it's very important in the care of injured workers as well as our athletes, our adults, our older adults, things like that. And they've done a great job. One
of the reasons why you did your sports medicine training and became a musculoskeletal expert, you actually are involved much more with the athletic trainers and the therapists than I, because 90% of injuries are non-surgery. We're going to go to a break and come back right after this.
I will keep dancing on point, even if it hurts.
My arm is killing me. I don't know if I can pitch another ball. But I'll just play through the pain anyway.
I have to do the big stunts. To look better than the other cheerleaders, our tosses are bigger.
My elbow really aches, but I got to keep practicing.
Don't tell them it hurts. They'll take you out of the game if you do. I have to push harder if I'm going to get a scholarship. I'm feeling dizzy, but I don't want to tell anyone.
Everyone's counting on me. I can't rest now.
Nearly 50% of all sports injuries sustained by middle and high school students are from overuse. Don't play through the pain. See your healthcare provider and follow their instructions for rest and recovery. Take the pledge. Become an advocate for sports safety. Visit StopSportsInjuries.org.
Go team!
Welcome back to Youth in Sports. We're here today with ATI Physical Therapy, and I'd like to get to speaking with the Vice President of Operations, Ray Walls. Ray, tell us, how did you get in this position? Where'd you start?
You look so young, Ray.
He's definitely young. He's younger than me, I believe.
Oh, my. He's already a Vice President.
So just because I look young doesn't mean I feel young. No, I started as an athletic trainer, Lock Haven University. Worked out in the Midwest for several years. Went back.
Where'd you grow up first before you went to Lock Haven?
Just south of Heaven in Rochester, New York. So
okay.
Was there. Like I said, went to Lock Haven. Had an opportunity to work in an outpatient physical therapy clinic at a high school outreach program in Davenport, Iowa. Stayed out there for about 4 or 5 years. Came back to the East Coast. Went to Temple for physical therapy school.
What made you change from athletic training to physical therapy?
Being an athletic trainer is tough. Both, on your personal life and professionally. It's tough hours. There's some
like I said, the hardest working, most underpaid individuals I know.
Definitely. Definitely.
I have a lot of respect and a lot of understanding of what a trainer goes through throughout the year. So I think that helps me in some of the decisions that I make and working with Kelly and her team. So when I finished with physical therapy school, interviewed with Kathy Calloway and Matt Haney, pro physical therapy, and they placed me down in Pike Creek with Paul Schweitzer. Had an opportunity to work with Paul
and learn to love blues.
Yeah, like it or not. Was there for about a year. Went up to North Wilmington office, and I was the director of that office for 3 years, maybe 4 years. And right around then is when we were acquired by ATI. Not everybody might know that. We were acquired in roughly the end of 2005, 2006, but we kept that pro brand. We've worked very hard for everybody in both the Delaware area, but in Pennsylvania and Maryland well, to get to know the running man. And so we kept up that brand for a while. I slowly started to integrate myself, mostly into the Pennsylvania market, and just kind of because my responsibility has grown from there. And in April of this past year, we officially pulled the Band-Aid off, officially ATI, and Doc kind of touched on, we do national events. We do some events that you'll see us at a Cubs game on the outfield wall. You'll see us in Milwaukee.
Tell us, where are you guys located other than
Where's the home office?
Corporate's in Bolingbrook, Illinois. That's where ATI started.
Now, where's Bolingbrook for those who aren't from Illinois?
That's the southwest suburb of Chicago.
So the south side of Chicago?
Southwest.
Not next to Leroy Brown then.
I think it's at Route 55, the west side of Route 55. A lot of things change. So we have locations in Wisconsin, Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, and then out here in what we call our East Division, Pennsylvania, Delaware, and
So what's
Maryland.
different about Pennsylvania and Delaware? I mean, other than the state line?
I think the biggest thing is there's a lot more competition on the privately owned side of things in physical therapy and physician-owned practices. That's something that we see in Pennsylvania. It's also something we see in Maryland. Not as much in Cecil County, but as you go down south to Baltimore, you see that.
What Ray's talking about is this physician-owned practice. Am I correct? Is that in Pennsylvania, physicians can actually own physical therapy, and in the state of Delaware, they cannot.
Correct.
Let me make a very bold statement here, having been a full professor in physical therapy since 1990. There is no one that I have met that can do what physical therapists do coming out of medical school. There's hardly anyone I've met in medicine that can do what physical therapists can do coming out of any residency or fellowship. So the audacity to think that we can own physical therapy and actually perform in that capacity other than as a business partner is rich. Okay, that's a rich idea. And for those of you that want to leave me a comment, I'll be more than willing to share it with you.
So that's a hurdle that we see, but again, it's a competitive market. There's
all right, I want to come back to another thing. And for those physical therapists who stop becoming physical therapists and just become businessmen, keep up your skills.
It's a shot at someone.
Oh, so back to you, Ray. No, tell us, where have you guys expanded? Go over some of the things that have happened in the last year.
Yeah, 2012 has been a great year for us. We've had some growth right here in the middle of our footprint in Delaware. Joe's a great example of we were able to get a quality person like Joe from another provider in the area, and we're able to have some organic growth and team up with occupational medicine and work pro. So we opened up right here in Wilmington. We've also opened up a clinic JT down in the Dover market. We're going to call that East Dover. We've had some growth down in the Baltimore market, south of the tunnel, the Severna Park, Pasadena area. And we've also had an opportunity to grow north of Philadelphia along that 611 corridor in the Doylestown. Kelly Pelican, her backyard is up there with Central Bucks School District, so we're able to support those schools much better now, much more efficiently now that we have some more clinics up that way.
So Ray, what people don't understand is that when you provide a service to a high school, it's not a break-even proposition, okay? Folks, they aren't making the money off of coming out and taking care of your children. They're doing it for two reasons. It's a win-win. Their expectations are that you're going to go to them for physical therapy because they're providing your kid with great service, and they're going to provide the family members. If that doesn't work, it doesn't make sense. So therefore, support your physical therapist who supports your school, whether it be ATI or another person, another group that's doing that. But that is the expectation, and that's the only way it works.
Yeah, we have a couple, what I guess you could call loss leaders. Sports medicine is a great way to reach out to the community. It's a great way to treat patients that, all our providers, everybody wants, in one aspect or another, wants to work with an athlete, whether it's a young sports athlete or an industrial athlete. So that's a great way to become closer and more connected to the community. Another thing that we offer is transportation, and I think a lot of people are starting to offer transportation, but that's another service that we don't get reimbursed for. It is a loss leader, but I think, I hope that physicians like yourselves appreciate that, and makes the whole referral process much easier. I know we're able to provide care to people that normally couldn't get that care. They get a better outcome, and they're able to be much more functional.
My expectation is that you will have it, or I can't use you because, for those people that have special problems. And you have to recognize that, why do we give 3 visits in physical therapy? There is no way that they don't lose money on the first 2. The first one, they're doing their evaluation. They're not actually doing a lot of treatment. The second one, they're trying to make sure you know what you're supposed to be doing. It's only the 3rd visit that their time isn't being dominated by your care. And I expect at least 10 minutes of hands-on care on almost every patient. There has to be a reason not to. So if you're not getting 10 more minutes of hands-on care, then you're probably in the wrong place.
What? Agreed. I work a lot with industrial athletes, as we know.
Yes,
I work
you do.
Work pro a lot. So you guys, we've teamed up in a couple areas to provide better care, but one of the things, and we don't have anyone here from your Worksite Solutions, but the program that you guys have through ATI with Worksite Solutions is excellent.
You have to define what that is for people that don't know.
I'm going to actually ask Ray to just kind of give us a brief overview. I know that Neil Taylor is someone who runs it. I work with Neil a lot, but can you just give us a kind of a oversight of that?
Yeah, that's a division of the program, or a division of the company. Neil Taylor and Diana Burns are heavily involved in that. AWS, it actually started as Advanced Worksite Solutions. It's an acquisition we did out in the Indianapolis market. Very successful, and we've been able to rename it, rebrand it to ATI Worksite Solutions. But what it is, it gives us an opportunity to put athletic trainers on the job site. They're not necessarily there to provide therapy, but they are there to provide basic first aid, and they're also there to give what we would consider pretty simple advice in working safely. If there is an issue, making sure it's handled properly and accordingly in a timely manner. So we're really there as an advocate for the employee and for the employer to make sure that things are being taken care of.
I think you need to qualify a point, though. This is not an education that they get while they're in school, and it's something they acquire after that. So athletic trainers are EMTs on athletic fields. They do the diagnosis and initial appropriate care for individuals who are injured. They're offering that same type of service, but they also offer prevention, where when they look at an environment and say, you keep doing these same 3 things, you're going to keep getting hurt. Well, that's what it's an extension of, as I understand it. So it was the mindset of understanding where the injuries occurred, and then the solutions that they had to helpfully avoid them, something that you are taught as an athletic trainer. Could a physical therapist have that same understanding? Yes, they could. But the difference between, why do we have a sports fellowship in physical therapy? We have it so that they can learn how to take care of the acute situations. Physical therapists are very comfortable with problems that you can walk into their office and they can diagnose. That's what they do. But taking care of them on the street is, without all the equipment available, is why they do further training, and that's where the athletic trainers excel. And why do athletic trainers go into the physical therapy clinic to do rehabilitation? Because that isn't something that in many programs they have enough time to acquire the skill set. Not that they can't. Because if you look at the GPAs and the SAT scores of the incoming group at the University of Delaware, many of them could go on to med school. These are kids that are really smart, but they've just decided that that's their calling.
The field that they want to do.
Until they work a couple Friday and Saturday nights. I'm sorry, every Friday and Saturday night.
No, that's a very good point in terms of there's a lot of extensive training that goes into taking that athletic trainer and then bringing them to the workplace. And,
hundreds of hours.
Yeah, and you have to have that interest. You have to, want to work with that different patient population.
But it's actually, I mean, you guys are able to provide ergonomic evaluations. Mm-hmm. You're able to provide.
Well, they don't know what ergonomic is.
It's a work site evaluation of how places are set up for the employee to make sure that they don't get injured. You guys also, I want to say, also do job evaluations. Correct. To say what a person can do at the work based off of what the job type is.
Yep.
So it's excellent in the work field for the industrial athlete and especially for the employers.
And they'll assess strength. Now, one of the issues that I have prior to going to a job is that we aren't allowed to put you through your paces. So you don't get a tryout like you do for the pros to see whether you can do that or not. Because a lot of individuals would probably not be suitable for some of the jobs that they're applying for because they have inherent weaknesses. Not injuries, but they're at risk for injuries because they have imbalances, particularly their belly sticks out too far and their back isn't strong enough to support it. Well, they're going to be at risk for all kind of different things, not just back pain, but being in the wrong place at the wrong time, off balance, losing things that come along that way. We have 30 seconds to the break. What do you want to talk about for 15 seconds?
I don't know. I want to get after Harry a little bit here.
Well, we're going to come
but
back
I think
to,
we'll come back.
And Harry's official title is what now?
He is business development.
He's keeping everybody happy all the time, which is a really hard thing, from bringing candy to making sure your patients get seen. We'll be back right after this.
What does opportunity mean to you? At Wilmington University, it means providing a personalized educational experience where students learn anywhere at any time. Wilmington University provides a variety of ways to complete your degree. Choose the flexibility of online learning, or attend classes during the day, in the evening, or on weekends at locations throughout the region. It's your degree. Choose how you earn it. Personalized education, affordable tuition. That's the difference at Wilmington University. What does opportunity mean to you? At Wilmington University, it means finding an innovative degree program that fits your goals and prepares you for a successful career. It means finding a school that fits your life. We know the importance of providing individual attention, affordable tuition, and unparalleled flexibility in service. Because at Wilmington University, it's not about meeting your expectations, it's about exceeding them. Personalized education, affordable tuition, that's the difference at Wilmington University.
Welcome back to Youth in Sports. We're here today with ATI Physical Therapy, and I said that I wanted to get after Harry Harris, who is the Director of Business Development for ATI. I've known him for a while now, and I've done, I've been to a lot of events and had a good time with him. But Harry, how did you get into this field? I mean, how do you become the Director of Business Development at a national physical therapy place. It's amazing.
Well, to be honest with you, I stumbled across it. I graduated from college, believe it or not, with a degree in child development and family relations with a minor in psychology.
Makes you fully capable of taking care of physicians.
There you go, there you go. Yeah, that's right. And then from there, I really honestly didn't know what I wanted to do. Went into auto insurance as a claims adjuster for a little while. And then I was fortunate enough, my uncle worked for a large pharmaceutical company, so he helped me get my foot in the door there. Spent 6 years there, and then went into, believe it or not, payroll sales. So I've had this couple different types of sales experience there.
Yeah, but all people. It's all been with people.
That's what it is. I think it's his personality. It comes down to one thing: the personality that you've had over the last few years that I've met. It's great. We like seeing you in the office. It kind of, when you stop in just for 5 minutes, it kind of picks everybody up. Everybody laughs and has a good time. So.
Well, I appreciate that.
So, what are you actively doing now?
So, as of January of this year, I was fortunate enough to get a promotion to business development director. And essentially, what I do is I help mentor and coach other business development representatives in northern Delaware, Chester County, as well as the Philadelphia region, I should say. I'm still calling on certain small group of providers, such as you and Dr. Axe. But ultimately just out there trying to educate the community as well as providers and create awareness about ATI and the different services that we offer and how we're unique to the competition, essentially.
All right, so give us a scenario that happened to you in the last couple of days of a service that you offer that the provider just wasn't aware and you were surprised they weren't aware.
Because last couple days. Good question.
Because usually what happens is, I know that they didn't, many times they don't know you provide, car service or pick up and delivery, as I call it.
Right. If you don't mind, what I'd like to do is I'd like to answer that, but kind of indirectly.
Sure.
Sure. We at ATI we've kind of developed something in our mind that we call differentiators. What makes us different? Because like you said, transportation is a great thing, but there are some other companies that offer that. So I kind of break it into 4 prongs. If you look at it from a patient's perspective, one of the things that makes us unique is the quality of care. I know that term's thrown around fairly loosely, but if the patient comes in to see JT or Joe, that patient's going to be with those individuals throughout their entire treatment. They're not going to see a different therapist each time they come.
Providing you can come when they work. They don't work necessarily the same hours. So many times it's the patient doesn't get the provider because they can't come at the time that they're there.
They change their time.
Right. We try to make it happen as best we can. Sometimes, or if Joe's sick or on vacation or something like that is a challenge, but we try to stick to that model. Right. Another piece of that too is we're a very physical therapist heavy company, PT heavy company versus having a lot of assistants or aides in the mix. Our ratio is very high from a physical therapist standpoint. And what that means is essentially the patient is seeing the most skilled professional, when they're in the clinic most of the time. Not that the aide isn't very capable of doing their job, or a physical therapy assistant, or even athletic trainer. But at the end of the day, a physical therapist has the most experience, the most training out there at the highest level. So,
and they're the one that are going to be held accountable by some physicians.
Exactly. So that's from a patient perspective. From a physical therapist perspective, we provide the most continuing education dollars in the country for our physical therapists. They're required to get continuing education every year, and it can be a financial burden for the therapist because most of the time they have to pay the majority of that out of pocket. Well, at ATI, we give the most continuing education dollars in the country. We've partnered with a company called Evidence in Motion that has fellowship programs and residency programs, so they can get a sports medicine fellowship, as you mentioned earlier. We fully fund that for them to take that financial burden off. They can focus on the classes and focus on an area of their expertise or where they'd like to become more of an expert.
But it's in addition to their 40-hour work week.
Exactly.
Okay, so it's like if you wanted to take a course to better yourself, they're like many of our companies which will pay for the course to allow you to better yourself. With their understanding that if you're better, the company's better. A win-win. And what I find with ATI is they try to find ways to win-win, which is why you support certain funds. Did we cover your 4 points?
That's good. We've got 2 left, but that's fine.
But no, go ahead. Finish the 2.
The last 2 real quick is
no, you have a whole section. We'll get.
Oh, the whole section?
Yeah,
wow.
Go ahead. We'll spread it around.
Wow. Okay. So the next
important.
Yeah, wow, this is impressive. Yeah. The next part is from a provider standpoint. What we try to do is we try to create educational opportunities. opportunities. So Dr. Axe in the past has had an opportunity to speak to local primary care providers, you know, on a topic of his choice to help educate primary care providers here locally. You know, and that's a great thing. He's got a lot of knowledge and expertise. Recently won a sports medicine award, which is an international award. So, you know, he's able to translate some of that expertise to local primary care providers. The other part of that is we do seminars, work comp seminars, and that provide an opportunity for physical therapists, orthopedic surgeons, primary care providers to come in and get their continuing education as well. So we're providing that forum for you all. For you people that don't understand how hard it is for CME certification, they have a full-time person to go through the process. To get a one-day seminar or a half-day seminar can require 100 hours of work. It's that hard to do. Definitely. Now the second time it's not quite so hard, but the first time is just a beast to get that done.
I think you were heading into something with him before his 2 points. I think
that's right.
Your points are done?
One more. You said I had whole segments. You do? Go ahead. The last thing is just our community outreach. One piece of that is we have an ATI Foundation, and for those of you who don't know, we basically do events here locally. Most of the funding comes actually from our employees as well to provide financial assistance for kids that have physical impairments. So we have a 5K that we just did a month or so ago, and our employees actually have their payroll deducted to give money towards that as well. And it's very important to us to help the community and give back. The other piece of that is we're involved with the Arthritis Foundation, the Boys and Girls Club, and honestly, a lot of providers such as yourselves will say, hey, you know, this is a charity that's near and dear to our heart. You know, would you mind helping out with that? And ATI didn't get where it is today without the help of the community, so we feel we should help the community and return that favor as best we can.
I think that's what I wanted. That's what I was going to ask about was all the local things that you guys are involved in. You know, the golf tournament that goes to your guys' charity, and like you said, the 5K that was recent. And
they've been a major sponsor to the Boys and Girls Club for their education programs.
Major sponsor of many of the...
Beast of the East provide all the trainers at a big tune that would be equal to or greater than the major sponsors of the tournament. They give it in kind, but we couldn't run that tournament without having them there to work the mats and do the things that they do.
Our orthopedic symposium, so many of the medical stuff that's around here you guys support.
Yep, so we thank you all for that. So we're going to go to the younger colleague here, JT Laws, a true Delaware product. Went to 2 different high schools sequentially. Went to 2 different colleges in the area sequentially. But once he got it together, he decided that he loves Dover. He loves the Kent County environment. Maybe growing up between Delaware City and Middletown had something to do with that. But certainly, it was a natural fit for you, JT. For those of you that don't know what JT stands for, share the world what JT.
Well, it stands for Joseph Theodore. I'm actually the 4th. So Teddy Roosevelt played into that a little bit, but it's been that way for a while apparently. So it was it's a very important thing to me to keep that up. So hopefully,
you think you'll have a JT to 5?
Well, there better be.
Okay.
There's some things you don't have control over.
You're not kidding. That's the truth.
But yeah, it's been a great opportunity to go down into Dover and serve that market. There's some great young athletes that are down there, as well as some great industrial athletes and active individuals who really need the service. And I know we've went down there a little bit more recently, and we've had a great response. We actually get a great deal of people from in the community that come in and really see a difference. And you know, like Harry was talking about, all the things that we do different really wind up making that difference to them. They come in, they see a friendly environment every time they come in. They're going through some of the toughest times in their lives right now. Like you said, like everybody's scared that first time you get injured. But when you come into a clinic and it's fun, you're having a good time, and you're getting great treatment, great quality of care, and making sure that you get that best care as quickly as possible, so we can get you back to those things that you need to do, whether it's work, whether it's getting back out on the field, whether it's picking up your grandchild off the floor. Different things like that. That's what we do different.
Well, the other thing that you guys do different, and it's not to say that there isn't quality physical therapy in Kent County, or it wasn't before you came, but that you can hand it off. See, what happens in so many facilities that I've been part of is the people I've gotten involved with, they were stars, but when they got bigger, they were forced into hiring other people that didn't practice the same way they did. And they didn't take the time to train them to do that. And I take issues with a lot of people that have made that mistake in the care of my patients. What I've been impressed with ATI is as you've gotten larger, you realize that you can't be there all the time, and that if you don't have a break, if you work a 65-hour work week, the first week you can get away with it. The second week, not so good. The third week, by the fourth week, your personality is impacted because you need a break. What ATI has been able to do is to keep their employees fresh. And that should be your fifth point, is that you found a way to allow them to want to come to work every day. You've created an environment that, short of the blues, allows them to say, hey, you know, I'm going to go make somebody better today. And at 5 o'clock, it's my time. I get to go and look for a new truck or something.
Well, the first time I met JT was actually I was covering a football game at William Penn High School.
Well, that's appropriate.
He was coaching.
When he wasn't playing there, he was coaching there. It makes sense.
And I think that has a lot, and I'm guessing, is that what got you into physical therapy, was your involvement in sports? And
I actually tore my hamstring when I was training for college football. I played at the University of Pennsylvania and the University of Delaware. When I was training, I actually tore it, and actually it was close to one of the old pro, Pike Creek, where we actually have seen, many of us have been involved with. I went and received treatment there. I was in the pool with Paul and everything like that, and that's what made me decide that that's what I wanted to be. I changed my major. I was an economics major at the University of Pennsylvania, Wharton School, and decided that it was something I didn't want to see myself doing. I wanted to help people. So, and I think that's.
Oh no! Wait! He's so. The economics degree is part of the business model. There's a reason why JT has been one of the younger people who have been therapists and have taken on a leadership role in a facility. So I don't think his Penn education was wasted.
Not at all.
So now you have you are looking to move even further. You're looking into advancing your career with the sports degrees. Yes. If we can combine it, I know Doug Adams, who was one of our former fellows, we'll come back to that after this, at the University of Delaware is now part of this whole process. We'll be back right after this. More ATI.
I know they never make me play with these guys, but why do they make me train like them?
Training hard is important, and for professional athletes, it's their job. But kids aren't professionals and shouldn't train at that level. Keep kids safe on the playing field and out of the operating room. Become an advocate for sports safety. Visit StopSportsInjuries.org.
We're back. We were just talking before we left that ATI Physical Therapy gives their therapists, they give them a lot of support. And you were talking about Doug
Adams. Yeah, Doug Adams was a former University of Delaware graduate, as a triathlete, very involved in the community with a lot of different things. Is now with ATI and is in a position where he's in their education division and he's just a great teacher. He was president of his class, just does some really fun things, and will help that whole spirit of finding ways to allow young people to advance themselves and the company wins at the same time these people go up, because the intent is not to leave the company. You know, you don't see that very much, and has had some issues initially in the processing of how many of their volume of patients, the expectations of the patients, but I think that that's been regionalized to make it more fair, that the expectations are now that they're not going to see more than the number of people that they can effectively treat, that some people require more, and that's a nice management skill. It's also, they do have expenses. It's an expensive, the equipment that they use is expensive. Usually the sites that they're involved in are expensive. If they have a pool, their expenses just went through the roof, or down the drain, maybe I should better phrase that, you know. But that really is a costly addition to a facility. JT, you have all that stuff in your South Dover facility.
Yes, we have a great deal. We have every bell and whistle that you can think of in our facility. We have laser, pool, everything that we could use to effectively treat the patients. And it's become one of those things where, you know, when we have a desire, when we have a niche that we want to go out and work with, like for myself, getting my OCS and my sports, you know, the company really backs us. They do everything they can to make sure that we're successful in what we do. I mean, because we all got into this not to be just average. We got in this to be the best. We want to be the best therapists. We want to give the best level of care. And that requires us to go out and put in some extra work. We do our 40-hour work week. We go in and we treat people. We make sure that they get better. But then we go on weekends and go to games and cover with athletic trainers and docs and make sure that we take care of patients better. And then we go to the EIM, the evidence in motion courses. Make sure that we get the up-to-date information and know the top of the line and the front line stuff so that we can take the best care of people. And it's really important, and to have a company that supports you to do that, it's hugely important. As a young therapist coming out of school, that's one of the things that was vital to me. And this company presented it and has followed through with everything that they promised.
We talked about you being the director of 2 sites. Tell us about the new site in Dover.
The new site in Dover, which is awesome, and you get to walk in there, and I'm sure you've been in there so far. It's a beautiful facility. It's very sharp. It's very clean, and it's also one of those things where you walk in and you know you're about ready to get some work done. You get there and you see on the right-hand side WorkPro. They're setting up, ready to get started, coming up soon. And you know what? They also have the first program back there, which is working hard to make sure we transition people from the acute care, where myself and other PTs. And
yeah, but I'm not sure it's good having them haul those cars around the track at Dover Down.
Well, you know, it's a racetrack, so we get things moving quickly. You know, it's one of those things where we have everything under one roof. We have the doc, we have the PT, and we have the first program. We're going to get you in, get you seen, and make sure that you're getting taken care of at WorkPro. Then you come right over, you get your acute PT done. We get you to that point where you can tolerate. Now we got to make that transition from that 1 to 1.5 hours to 2-hour program in PT to, okay, now we got to get you ready to go back to work for 8 hours. The first program. It's a great opportunity for you to go and actually balance that 1 to 2 hours, and then you progress all the way back up to that 8-hour workday. You come in, you work for 4 hours, you get yourself working hard, get your heart rate up, and you get conditioned and ready to go back to work. It's the same thing we want to do with athletes. We want to get the athletes back out there.
Well, how long have you guys been open there?
We've been open there for 2 weeks.
Nice.
So, and it's doing very well. It's everybody seems to be having a great time to go in there. Bring breakfast by every now and then. Everybody seems to be very appreciative, and you know, the patients are very happy to be over there. There's actually an active duty military guy over there. It's EOD. Without getting into too much, this guy is in there with his full duty fatigues, everything, on the treadmill, working hard, getting down and working on everything. And you know what? It's one of those things, you walk in and you see people getting better and trying to get back to their livelihoods. And I think that's what we get into this for. Make sure we.
Well, one of the other things that ATI has also been successful is the things that the people didn't know they had a problem with. Mm-hmm. So, for instance, they had a back problem, but they thought it was a hip problem. Mm-hmm. And it requires them to further a diagnosis, or the back problem was leading to the hip problem. You correct the hip problem, now you have a back problem. But I've also seen fitness is a critical element to each of the problems that we face, because you either get deconditioned or you never were conditioned. So you have one of those two scenarios. But you have special programs within your facilities to use the equipment if someone's able to step down. You want to talk a little bit, maybe Harry, talk about the gym memberships that you do, or Ray, whomever. I'll leave it open.
I mean, we offer JT alluded, we get to see a lot of patients, and we get an opportunity to change a lot of lives. There's times when we'll see patients for a long period of time, several months. Patients that aren't used to working out or don't have a gym to go to, they come and they see us and they go to a great facility for several months. They want to keep continuing to come. You know, they don't need any formal physical therapy, but there's a level of comfort with the staff there, the equipment there. So we offer a program, a step-down program, where for a small minimal amount of money, they can continue to come in. They're independent with their program, and I think the nice thing about the step-down program is that their therapist is there. They don't need them, but if they're there, if they do, hey, you know what, JT, I've been doing this. Kind of took that acute care plan of care, transferred it over into a gym program. It's getting a little easy. What do you recommend? You know, our therapists are more than happy to sit down, take a couple minutes. Let's go ahead and change a few things. Let's challenge you a little bit, and patients appreciate that. And I think
I've seen you go one step further. I've actually seen you go to the gym where they want to go and they want to join their membership, and you act on behalf of the gym, which is again a win-win. If you take care of the people with the gym, they send the people that are hurt. I mean, it's okay to have both parties win. But getting back to going to the gym and they want to use this equipment, there's no better person in modifying an exercise program than the guru of modification. That's Paul Schweitzer. He has 10 different ways to do things, and that's a problem because he confuses the other 9 people.
The program's awesome. My father had his shoulder done by Dr. Axe and went over and he did his therapy with Paul. And after that, he decided he wanted to stay because he wanted to continue to get his shoulder better, but also work out. So he followed that program and he loved it.
Yeah,
it was an excellent program.
It works out very well. And again, patients, you know, they have a great experience on the acute side. They continue to come. It's great exposure to the company, but they're also getting what they need as well. So it's a win-win. Works out for everybody.
Right. And the other thing is you have to come in off hours to use the equipment because they need it for the treatments otherwise. There is some modification. Well, I'm going to go we have only 5 minutes or so left, and we want to thank ATI as being our benefactor for youth in sports. That's why they're the first thing that you see on the screen when we come and leave, that they've been nice enough and they're community spirited enough, and they think that what Youth in Sports does, showcasing the great kids in our area and the associated things that they want to do, is important to their company. And thank you again on behalf of the senior guys, the hosts of Youth in Sports, for being such a part of our show. What's on your horizon, Joe? What do you want to do next?
I'm looking to really get this clinic up off the ground in Riverfront and really make something special out of it and really help the people of Wilmington. I've been a Wilmington native, so I really enjoy the people of Wilmington and getting to know all the folks that live in that area and really bring the Riverfront up to the 21st century and really kind of pay back the investment that ATI has made in me.
Good. Kelly, what do you want to do with athletic training in the region, in Pennsylvania?
I want to see us continue to grow. Our big project right now is working on concussions and bringing concussion education to all of our schools, to our athletes, and to the parents as well. So they're informed of what's going on and the changes that have taken place just in the last 4 years as far as concussion care.
I think that's going to, it's there.
The trainers have put a lot of time into this. Trust me, I work over at Goldie Beacom College, and the trainer over there is Monica, and she has put tons of hours into a program just for Goldie Beacom. So their time not just on the field, but also in putting programs together and things like that.
Ray, what's new in the eastern half of the United States?
We're doing a great job. I think we're going to continue to grow. There's a lot of opportunity out there, thankfully.
Do people knock at your door and say, hey, can we become part of ATI? We have a 3-shop.
Yeah,
that was a loaded answer.
Couple months ago, there was an election. I don't know if you heard about it, but there's some private operators that are kind of seeing what may be on the horizon in healthcare, and I think there's going to be a lot of consolidation, particularly in physical therapy. So I think there's going to be a lot of opportunity, and we are seeing a lot of.
Well, we know you can cherry pick the good ones.
That's
all part of it.
Filtering out the good from the bad.
You got to be good at that.
Part. We have a lot of resources and a lot of people that are very good at finding opportunity and taking full advantage of that opportunity.
Harry, I'm going to put you on the spot. What's unfair for someone to ask you for? Like these physicians think they send a few patients, and I'm going to go that way. You can't ask for tickets, guys. Okay?
No.
They will invite you on occasion to go and do and partake of different arrangements that they have, but you should be really happy with them just taking care of your patients.
Definitely.
Yeah, I've been asked all kinds of things, limo rides and
Yeah, but you gave the limo rides. That's the...
We used to, but yeah, we've changed up a little bit.
Is that what you pick people up in?
No.
but they spend their money wisely. They really do. They're out supporting things that benefit a lot of people, not just a few people. And you people that think that they should only benefit you, you're not being fair. Okay,
Right.
you're not being fair. JT.
That's what.
Go ahead.
JT, what's on the horizon down in Dover?
I think Dover is going to be just a great place to be. It's going to be it's a very big market, and there's a lot of people down there that, again, need help.
20% anticipated growth rate in the next 10 years.
Yeah.
20%. Just look at the elementary schools. When you see trailers in elementary schools, you know that the community is growing.
Getting bigger.
Yeah, the community is definitely getting bigger, and you know what? There's a lot of great athletes down there. There's a lot of great people down there, and they all deserve the best care possible. So.
And there's a lot of integration that'll go on between Del State, Wesley, and some other schools that have been there. We hope that they get more. Well, what did you learn today, Dr. State? We got a minute.
You reopened your Smyrna office, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
So just also in the past year. So there's been 2 new offices in Kent County that I know of. So it's excellent, the commitment to Kent County from ATI. What have I learned? I did learn one thing. I didn't know that you guys had someone who did vertigo and balance work, which is something outside of the scope of most of the physical therapists.
Now if you have a concussion.
which is excellent for all the concussions that we're seeing now and rolling out and making sure. So there's some other specialties in physical therapy that you guys are able to give us. So.
Well, we want to thank you one more time for being the sponsors of Youth in Sports. I'd like to thank you for taking care of my high schools so well. And Kelly, for your mentorship for the young trainers coming out of school. I appreciate that. They're trying to get it done, but they don't get enough time. Hope you learned something about ATI. Welcome. Thanks for watching.
What does opportunity mean to you? At Wilmington University, it means finding your relevance in the job market. That's why we offer career-oriented degree programs that meet employment needs in emerging fields. Dedicated professors bring their real-world experience into the classroom so you'll graduate with the tools you need to succeed on the job. It's your degree. Make it relevant to your career. Personalized education, affordable tuition, that's the difference at Wilmington University.
This show was sponsored by ATI, the company taking physical therapy to a higher level throughout the country. First State Orthopedics, where Youth in Sports hosts Drs. Straight and Axe are members of the team taking care of Delaware with a commitment to excellence. And President Jack Barcelona and his Wilmington University College of Technology, where each semester this student-run program is produced, directed, edited, and distributed under the guidance of the TV production faculty. Each guest receives a copy of the show, and all shows are available on the web at youthinsports.com.